Well, let's bring in Gatestone Institute senior fellow, author of The Coming Collapse of China and China is Going to War, Gordon Chang. So, Gordon, you say it's probably not a coincidence that Iran is ramping up tensions along Israel's borders at the same time that you see these Chinese forces engaging in these really belligerent actions in the South China Sea. So tell us about that. And also, what do you think about Jake Sullivan heading back to China?
Well, Cheryl, it's also not a coincidence that Belarus is massing its forces on Ukraine's border right now. And I think really what we're seeing is China using its friends to distract from what it really cares about, which is grabbing Philippine islands and reefs and shoals in the South China Sea, which is consequential. You know, Xi Jinping right now looks like he is trying to start a war. And many people will say, oh, now we've got to talk to the Chinese. But the problem is we've been talking to the Chinese intensively throughout the Biden administration, and things have only gotten worse. So I think we need to change course, and we need to say, we have said everything we possibly can say. We are done talking with you, and we're now going to start to act. And in the South China Sea, unfortunately, that means we need to flood the zone with the U.S. Navy and Air Force to show that we will defend our ally, the Philippines. This is one of those moments like Czechoslovakia in 1938 or Poland in 1939. It is that serious.
But the question is, will we do that in particular when, you know, Biden's only going to be in office through January? Well, we'll see. Turning now to Democratic VP nominee Tim Walz's ties to China. So Maria spoke with Peter Schweitzer on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday. Schweitzer has studied China and its influence campaigns extensively. Here's what he had to say. Watch this, Gordon.
Do you believe that the Communist Party has been grooming Tim Walz?
Oh, I think there's no question about it, Maria. It goes back to the exchange program that he ran and brought hundreds of students from the United States to China. He told students going to China to downplay their Americanness. There's an account from one student, I haven't been able to independently verify it, saying that he brought back lots of copies of Mao's Little Red Book when he was in China. So this is a relationship that's long-standing, and it carried forward when he joined Congress.
Gordon, your reaction?
Well, Peter Schweitzer is absolutely right. Those student travel to China, which Tim Walz organized, that had to have been approved by the Communist Party's United Front Work Department. The United Front Work Department is the part of the party that subverts foreign governments. And this was an exercise that China obviously believed it was very important for it to groom students, which means it was grooming Tim Walz. Walz needs to explain this to the American public, because from all that we know, this looks like a Communist Party operation against the United States, and Tim Walz was an integral part of it.
All right. Tricia McLaughlin, get in here.
I want to jump back to Jake Sullivan's trip to meet with the diplomats. What should he be trying to get out of this with just 70 days before an election? I think that's naturally going to be a topic that comes up. What do you make of that trip, and what should he be aiming to get out of it?
He should be telling the Chinese in no uncertain terms that the United States will defend its friends and partners in Asia, especially the Philippines right now. He needs to say that the fentanyl trade must stop immediately. We know that this is a Communist Party operation. It's not just some Chinese criminals. It is the Communist Party. The list goes on and on of things that we have been talking to China about for decades. But especially during the Biden administration, they've touted their progress with China on these discussions. But we know that relations have only gotten worse. So, Tricia, I don't know exactly what Jake Sullivan should say that he hasn't already said, because he's already said it so many different times, and he's said it to Wang Yi so many different times. This will be, I think, their 5th meeting together, and things just do not get better.
Well, that's my question here, Gordon, is what have we gained in the last 3.5 years under the Biden-Harris administration when it comes to China? Obviously, the flow of fentanyl continues through the border with Mexico. They have actually gotten more aggressive when it comes to Taiwan. And then look at some of the inroads that China has now made in Africa. So, I mean, all of the, you know, and then let's not forget, you know, Chinese President Xi Jinping Jinping and Vladimir Putin's very close relationship. I mean, all of this tells me, oh, and Cuba, the list goes on and on. But the thing is, I don't understand, I've never have, why the Biden-Harris administration has been so forgiving. They keep saying diplomacy, diplomacy, but what have we gained from that diplomacy?
We have not gained anything, and the Chinese have gained 3.5 years of further assaulting our society without a meaningful response from us. The Biden administration is continuing something that we've done for 5 decades, which is believe that we can integrate China into the international system. If we only talk to the Chinese, that things will get better. Well, that has not worked with militant regimes throughout history and throughout our history, and we should understand that, and we should start defending ourselves. So I think that by talking, we just give China time to continue conduct which is getting at us, and actually, I think, is the most important thing that's been going on during the Biden administration, which is the failure to defend us.
Gordon Chang, it's always a pleasure to see you, Gordon. Thank you for being here.